to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Carr, here. Mr. Miller. Here. Mr. Smith. Here. Mr. Baculus. Here.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do any board members desire to add, delete, or separate any items of the consent agenda as proposed? No? All right, I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented for the regular board meeting on December 16th, 2024.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. Yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Baculus.
Yes.
Mr. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. This time we need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on November 18th, 2024.
Move. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith. Yes. Mr. Baculus.
Yes.
Mr. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. Are there any board members with correspondence? Are there, Mr. Simone?
Yep.
All right, you want to continue recognizing our guests and visitors?
Thank you guys for this. Thank you for being here. If you please just introduce yourself.
Christy Midland,
Jenny Henry.
Sherry Brown, Laura Swineford.
Brady Rupert.
Lucas Burkholder.
I'm Renee Kessler with the Village Reporter.
Thank you. Seeing that no one has registered to address the board, we'll continue on with Mr. Carroll's financial reports.
All right, thank you. It's a stack of papers. First one you see is our cash reconciliation. This shows that we are balanced to our banks. We have our financial summary. This is showing how our funds are appropriated currently with the county auditor. We have our cash summary. This shows the fund balance and encumbrances for every fund at Evergreen. We have our disbursement summary. These are the disbursements that we had during the month of November. The first graph that you see, this is for the general fund. This compares our revenue and expenses to last November and then current fiscal year to date. At the end of November, we are 42% of the way through the fiscal year. Everything looks good on here. And the next graph is broken down payroll and benefits. We are 41% of the way through our payroll budget and 39% of the way through our benefits budget. We have one donation to the Student Assistance Fund, and then we had a revised auxiliary services agreement. This is for our students at Low Trinity. These are pass-through funds, but they had a couple changes, so we just need to update the contract that they sent us. That is all that I have.
Awesome. Any questions for Mr. Carroll? All right, we'll jump right into the financial section of the agenda. We need a motion to approve the November 2024 financial reports we just reviewed with Mr. Carroll. We need to accept the following donation of $100 anonymous donation to the Student Assistance Fund. We need to approve a revised auxiliary service agreement with the Educational Service Center of Lake Erie West for the 24-25 school year, the amount of $88,310.74 for personnel services for the benefit of Holy Trinity Schools, and to amend resources and modify appropriations accordingly.
So support.
Roll call.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Baculus.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. All right, move on to personnel. We have a few things here. We need to rescind and offer the following supplemental contracts that approve volunteers for the 24-25 school year pending the completion of all people activities permit requirement. Lane Field, we're going to rescind her assistant and we're going to move her to a volunteer assistant. Sarah Freese for an assistant girls basketball coach. We also need to approve FMLA leave for Katrina Speck, beginning approximately March 2nd and ending approximately May 25th of 2025. We need to approve the following individuals to the approved district substitute list pending the completion of any and all licensure requirements and background checks. Haley Langford for cafeteria and custodian, Travis Walters for bus driver. We need to approve Ryan Lamb as a long-term EHS intervention specialist substitute from January 3rd, 2025 to May 30th, 2025, compensated at FBA step 0. At this time, we just need a motion to approve the above listed personnel positions.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. This time we'll move on to other business. We need a motion for the Evergreen Local Board of Education to adopt the 25-26 district school calendar and tentatively approve the 26-27 district school calendar as recommended by school administration and the calendar committee after receiving public input to include the following significant dates. I will let you look over that for a second.
So. Support.
Questions or discussion on that? Roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. We need a motion for the Evergreen Local Board of Education to join in membership with the Ohio School Board Association and authorize the treasurer to pay $5,885 membership fee for the 25 school year. The 24 year was $5,679.
So move. Support.
Question or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. We need to approve the following overnight trip for agricultural students, Taylor Johnson and teacher Miss Alexis Howell, to travel to the National FFA Next Generation Conference in Orlando, Florida, for educational workshop and to explore plant systems career field. Taylor and Miss Howell will stay at the Renaissance Orlando Airport Hotel. Attendees will depart on March 4th and return on March 8th. The trip costs approximately $1,300 and will be paid by the school's FFA account.
Move. Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. We need to approve the following overnight trip for agricultural students to attend the Ohio FFA State Convention in Columbus, Ohio. Attendees will depart on bus on April 30th, 2025 and return on May 2nd, 2025. And staying at the Holiday Inn Express in Columbus. Miss Alexis Howell will be the trip supervisor. The trip costs approximately $200 per student and the majority will be paid by the students.
So move. Support.
Question or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. Another overnight trip, to approve the following overnight trip for choir student Carson Wise and teacher Mr. Luke Rosen to travel to the Ohio Music Educators Association All-State Choir at the Cleveland Institute of Music. Carson and Mr. Rosen will depart on February 5th and return on February 7th. Attendees will stay at the Hilton Garden Inn in Cleveland. The trip cost will be paid by the student and Evergreen Music Boosters.
So moved. Support.
Question or discussion? Roll call.
Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, we need to set the date and time for our next, organizational board meeting. So if you remember, Matt, we have to have our January meeting before the 15th. So that Monday, January 13th, would be the second Monday. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, we discussed that, so. At this time, we just need a motion to set the 2025 annual organizational meeting at the Evergreen Local Board of Education on January 13th at 5:45 to be held in the Evergreen High School Lauren Pennington Learning Center with the regular board meeting to immediately follow.
Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Backlund?
Yep.
Mrs. Keeler?
Yes, motion carries. All right, at this time, we need to elect a president pro tempore for our organizational meeting until the newly elected president assumes the chair. Ooh, do you want me to just do, Mr. Carroll like we normally do? Or do you want It's gotta be what?
Jason.
Jason? Okay. Sounds like Jason's a unanimous vote. Okay. I'll read that again. A motion to elect Jason Miller as the president pro tempore to preside at the beginning of the January 2025 organizational meeting until the newly elected president assumes the chair. That's according, okay. Are you good, Don?
Support.
Rusty, questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Beckler.
Yes.
Mr. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. All right, Mr. Small, would you like to continue with discussion and information?
Yeah, some information will help us for the organizational meeting. I'd like to know if you'd like to do the following as we have done in the past, so. Shall the superintendent continue to serve as the purchasing agent for Evergreen with a single item spending limit of $35,000?
Yes,
Yes.
Shall the board adopt a resolution to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting?
yes,
Yes.
Shall the board continue to utilize a consent agenda by topic for future meetings?
yes,
Yes.
Shall the board continue to meet on the third Monday of the month at 6 P.M.? There's a couple exceptions the way we've done it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall the board continue accepting oral reports from building principals at the meetings?
yes.
Yes. We miss you guys when we don't see you.
Shall the board continue to be compensated for a maximum of 13 meetings per year?
Yes,
Yes.
Does the board wish to continue an opening ceremony of the regular meeting that includes the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have anything additional?
I'll
Not until after, okay,
cover my report.
so we're gonna jump right into Mrs. Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Wanted to let you know that last week we had data days for our teachers where they met with Dr. Swineford to look over our student data for, the spring from last year and fall. The third grade team and I will be meeting, after the first of the year, to create a plan, as to how we're going to address the standards, for the spring test. Also wanted to let you know that OTA's observations are all wrapping up for the first semester, so getting that all taken care of. Our tree lighting event on December 9th went very, very well. MVP took that over this year. They did a great job at the back of the school, which is really nice. We'll have a few tweaks for next year, but went very, very well. Our mini Viking choir concert was a huge success. Mr. Torrance is amazing. He created a wonderful experience for our choir students and their families on May 10th. Was awesome. We also will be having a second grade program this coming Friday from 9:45 to 10:30 for just our second graders. They invite in their families and they just do this on their own, just because they want to bring in the community. Likewise, for our kindergarten students, will begin on January 10th. We will, at that time, we'll have 60 students total from the elementary that will be attending likewise. Each of our grade levels have 1 day per week that they attend. We wanted to wait on our kindergarten to begin. Just with the start of school, we wanted to make sure that they were, I guess, in the habit and routine of coming to school each day, feel comfortable with the routine before we start with kindergarten. And I'm really glad that we did it that way, just to see how everything would flow. And next year, I think we'll do the same thing. So
What days are they going?
they're gonna be going on Fridays,
How many are signed up?
10.
Thank you.
Mhm. That's all I have. Do you have any more questions for me?
How's life? It's going pretty good.
Very smooth. They come into the office, lunches are provided for those students that buy, and they head out. They have 2 volunteers, one at the front of the line, one at the back. Get on the bus, come back. They join the classrooms, when they return at the front doors, if they're, at outdoor recess. Otherwise, they bring them in to the indoor recess area. So it's been very smooth.
Good.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Burkholder.
Good evening. I want to recognize our December Steeple champ, which is Mr. Rosen. Mr. Rosen, our choir director, does a fabulous job with this program and musical. And he's been working extra hours trying to get those things ready. We just had a band and choir concert, which I listed in here last Thursday. If you attended that, you realize it was a packed house, very packed. But in this case, as always, the music department did an excellent job. Mr. Stearman, Mr. Rosen, Mr. Lyons, our kids performed at a very high level. I can say that having sat through other school districts, band performances as well. So they do a great job. I want to thank the Swanton VFW for their generous donation of American flags. We had reached out to them, the Delta American Legion, and both made donations. So we now have for the whole entire district, plenty of flags to go in all the classrooms as needed. I want to thank MVP. We actually had a Ohio State Michigan dance back on November 22nd for our 7th and 8th graders. MVP hosted that for us and helped organize the event. It was well attended. In the 3 years of doing this, it was the best attended one we've had. And kids had a great time, so thank MVP for that. Last week on the 11th, we had 4 county representatives come out to talk to our 8th graders. And get our kids signed up to go out in January, so we can do a tour out there and the kids can actually see a couple different options when they're out there. So we're looking forward to doing that as a building. I would like to do a thank you to Crumble Cookie in Toledo here. They made a generous donation to our PBS program, so our kids can get some free cookies from them. And we also had Shadell Drainage make a monetary donation for us as well. And then I want to recognize 8 students who tried out and made the all-district honors choir. Those students are Michael Sager, Carly Height, Aiden Cruz, Desmond Lambus, Avery Lemley, Anna Stearns, Josiah Torrance, Callan Willie, and Zoe Zoltowski. It's quite the honor to make that group. And last but not least, just gonna give you kind of a preview of what our weeks entail. We have a lot of Christmas stuff going on in our building, but we'll have a big staff Christmas lunch on Thursday that the kids will love because the administration helps run that, and they get to play a volleyball game between the 8th grade football players and the volleyball players. And then we do a number of Christmas games and activities that day, and then we finish out on Friday with the Christmas dance for the older kids and Christmas food and games for the younger kids. So we're enjoying the week as much as possibly can. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burkholder. Mr. Roofer.
Good evening. On Friday, December 6th, we had our second installment of Future Friday. I had freshmen, sophomores going out to Parker Hannafin, North Star, Fulton County Health Center, Farmers and Merchant State Bank. So they kind of went out on field trips to see those different career opportunities. And we also allowed our juniors and seniors to be out of the building for the day to either job shadow or college visits. We had 60 juniors and seniors visit colleges of their choice, and then 53 juniors and seniors go out and job shadow. I was reading through their forms. There were some pretty neat experiences that kids got to take part of. Also want to recognize our quiz team who qualified for the national tournament in 8th year in a row. So congratulations to that team and Mr. Blanchon. And also congratulations to our FFA novice parliamentary procedure team. They competed at state. They were in the top 10. Those kids were Peyton Mossing, Alexis Johnson, Braylon Dimmeline, Lily Farah, Isabella Hendricks, Lily Eisel, Lila Radel, and Carissa Wilson. Based on what the middle school, we don't have as quite as fun end to the semester. We are doing exams Thursday, Friday, so we all operate on a block schedule. All kids take exams unless they have study hall mentoring or student aid. Second semester, we usually incentivize it with attendance and grades, so everyone will be in taking exams. And at the bottom, you'll see upcoming dates. We have band choir concert. It's tomorrow. We have already planning for the Disney trip for next year. And then we also are hosting a blood drive on January 15th. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roofer. Mrs. Schmidlin.
Hello. I just want to report on 2 special education reports that we received from the department each year. One of them is a special education rating, which was released in October. The next is the profile, which is expected to be released in January. So based on the report for the rating that was released, each year districts receive this rating, and it provides an overall performance of special education programs. The department calculates this rating using some of the EMIS data that's reported. You can see that the compilation of data results is in one of 4 possible ratings. So meets requirements, needs assistance, needs intervention, or needs substantial intervention. So any rating other than meets requirements qualifies districts for support from the state support team. So the 24 special education rating data that came back is based on, it's kind of a spiral. So it's based on the 2022-23 school year. Evergreen's overall rating for this was a 3.43. The scoring table, the meets requirements ranges from 3.75 to 4, and the needs assistance ranges from 3.0 to 3.74. So I did want to give you a breakdown of how we received that score of 3.43. There are some indicators that we are rated on, so one of them is disproportionality, so that just looks at our population of students receiving special education versus students receiving general education services, and we're proportionate in that area, so 4 is the greatest score you can receive. We got a score of 4 in that area, a score of 4 with timely initial evaluation, score of 4 with early childhood transitions from early intervention, like Help Me Grow, to our preschool program, a score of 4 for secondary transitions and timely correction of noncompliance. We didn't have any noncompliance issues. But we did receive a 4 of indicator 1 and 2, which is our graduation and dropout rate. Now, this data comes from the 21-22 school year. So like I said, it spirals back. Looking at that, there was an anomaly with our trend data. Based on there, we had 17 graduating students that received special education services, and 4 of them were considered dropout. Now, looking back, I was part of all those processes, and we had some very thoughtful, lots of meetings, but ultimately the decision for some of those students was a dropout. So moving forward, we do have lots of supports in place through our IEP team process. We have graduation plans that are starting freshman year, Mr. Roofer, Mrs. Brame, IEP teams. We have a great process to improve that. So I'm hoping that we don't see that in our rating in the future, but again, that seemed to be an anomaly with our trend data. And also, like I said, our special education profile is expected to be released in 2025, well, January of this 2025, which will be based on last year's. Do you have any questions for me about that information? I'll be reporting on that when we get it.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Mr. Smola.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Evergreen community for their support they have provided our students throughout the first semester, their generosity. Support for our students' time and dedication is greatly appreciated and does have a huge impact on the education experience of our students. So just wanted to say thank you and happy holidays to everybody that supports this school. It makes a huge difference, and that goes from grandparents to our support organizations across the board. So thank you to everybody who helps out with the district and our students. As we start the second semester in January, we'll be seeking community feedback as we update the Viking Compass, our district strategic plan for the next 3-year cycle going from 2026 to 2029. We will be sending stakeholder surveys and holding community meetings to gain perspective. So that's on the horizon. Seems like we just finished it, but we got to keep looking at where we need to go. So we have a plan to get there. And then tomorrow I will be in Columbus as a member of the BASA Department of Education and Workforce Committee that will be meeting with the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce Director, Stephen Dakin, to discuss developments and concerns with public education. It's a group of about 20 to 25 superintendents. So opportunity to get some face time with him and to hear what's going on, and also to share concerns from a rural school district. It's a mix of urban and rural from throughout the state. So that's a committee that I'm on. We have not met yet with Director Dakin, so I'm excited to get down there and see what he has to tell us. Any questions?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smola. Are there any better board members with questions or concerns? No. All right, at this time, we need a motion for the members of the Evergreen Local Board of Education, superintendent, treasurer, and invited guests to go into executive session for the following reasons: to consider the employment of public employees. Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1.
So moved. Support.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Carr?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Mr. Vacuous?
Yes.
Mrs. Keith?
Yes, motion carries, and there'll be no action after this executive session. So